24 years of age, Labour's new TD in Cork North Central, Eoghan Kelly, has recently become the youngest in the Dáil.
What were you doing at 24? We're not allowed to talk about it, actually. Sorry, there's an NDA on that. We're here to talk about inspiring young people to speak up and the difficulties he's faced in his political journey. It is Eoghan Kelly. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us, Eoghan.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much.
Because, my God, this has been a fast forward of a political career. How does it feel to be the youngest TD in the Dáil?
Yeah, it's a real privilege, obviously, and it's a great honour at 24 to get a mandate from the people of Cork North Central to serve them. Probably something I didn't expect so quickly in my political career, but really honoured and surprised at the fact that I've been given a mandate to serve the people.
Did you always have an interest in politics? Is your family involved in politics? Because I know you were a teacher and then you've obviously just decided that this is the direction you want to go. Yeah,
I suppose there's no one in the family ever involved in politics. We always would have been associated with the Labour Party. But it was just kind of a case of, actually, just a bit of background on it was, in 2016, my school burnt down. And 3 years after that, the school still hadn't been built. So we wrote to the Minister for Education at the time, and within a few weeks of that, we could see that there was builders on site and that some progress was being made. So we could see that with any political will behind something was going to be done.
And this was students?
This was students, students.
So student power, student council getting together?
Student council, student-led. There was 3 of us in particular that wrote to the Minister, and we could see that something was being done. So I really kind of understood from that then that there was some sort of, if you had political will behind something that you wanted to achieve, then it could be achieved, you know?
So that must have been, I suppose, so many politicians do try to stress to people that people power does make a difference, that you can make change. So that sparked a huge
It did, and
interest.
then I started working with Sean Sherlock, who was a TD for Cork East for 17 years. And that was just on a part-time basis, and I really loved that job. It was the bread and butter, the ground hurling, it's the medical card applications, it's assessment of the needs for children. You're dealing with people every day of the week, and I really love that job. So it was kind of with Sean's encouragement as well that kind of really progressed the fact that, would you put your name on a ballot paper?
You're the youngest name in the Dáil at the moment. Do you agree with a lot of young people have a bit of a disillusionment about actually getting involved in politics, getting registered to vote and actually voting because they feel it doesn't make a difference?
Well, I don't know about not making a difference, but I think there is this kind of sense out there that, you know, about going to vote, about registering to vote or any interest at all. But I think the only way we can actually get people interested is if we elect candidates who are of a younger age. And even there's people I met at the doorstep of an older age group who really felt that they wanted a younger generation of politicians to tackle the issues that we're facing. Because there's serious issues in relation to housing, healthcare, education, you know, climate action. And it's a new generation of politicians that we need to tackle these issues in particular.
But it's sort of recruiting them because, obviously, emigration, you know, your generation, teachers, doctors, nurses, bye-bye, you're all gone.
Absolutely.
Every time that I see something on the news, it's, oh, well, I'm not going to be able to afford to buy a house in this country. But recruiting people like that, putting yourself forward, I think is what we're kind of interested in, because politics comes with a very disgusting edge these days, and that is online life where you're behind an anonymous account. Did you have to face things like that? I'm sure it's different when you're going door to door than what you're seeing online.
Yeah, I suppose what I pride myself on is not get the doorstep, because I think it's vital. It's with a good voice on the face that you're seeing representing you. Naturally, you're going to get stuff on social media. It's just the age that we're in, it's going to happen. But you have to kind of look past that, because you want to provide public services and public infrastructure for the people you're representing. You have to look past the fact that there is going to be people on social media who are going to be almost discouraging you from being involved in politics. But a strong mind, strong will, you can go past that and say, you know, we always need politicians, we need people to run the country, and just encouraging people in. But if people see me at 24 years of age being elected, you know, there's the encouragement there to say, I want to go into public office, or even not even the public office, just to have some sort of engagement with politics. Because so many people are disengaged with the fact that we need people running the country. And if we want change, it's people of my generation that are going to be the ones to hopefully change what we have in this country at present.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And you want to see a younger generation feel that they can connect with them as well. You've been very open about your personal life as well, about your epilepsy diagnosis. You had did you get the diagnosis at 21?
21, yeah.
How has that affected you? And do you think, is it good to have somebody like yourself being very open and honest about it?
I think, and it's probably something that I wouldn't have spoken about because I didn't really think it was necessary. But it did come into the spotlight. I was going on radio during the campaign, and I had an epileptic seizure in the studios. And it's something that came into the spotlight. It's about owning that story myself. And of course, at 21, you're kind of saying, how did something of this condition come across and come onto me? Because I wasn't sick ever, didn't feel sick. And just a small percentage of people in the country do get epilepsy between 10 and 60. And it's a case of that I have epilepsy, but there's loads of people out there with completely different medical conditions who are probably in the same boat as me and want to go and seek out their dreams. And I would encourage people, and I think that's what resonated with people. Go and seek out your dream, even if you have a medical condition, whatever it may be. My dream was public office, public representation. I went, seeked it, and now I'm elected to Dáil Éireann. And so it's a great privilege. But the message I wanted to try and get across was the fact that if you do have a dream and you have a medical condition, just go and seek it. Whatever it may be. It's like people have ambitions to be in particular jobs, people have ambitions to travel. Don't allow a medical condition hold you back.
There's an awful lot that we can look at this. Again, you're sitting there, you were co-opted onto the council.
Yeah.
And then you ran for the local elections of the council. You got that last year. And then next thing, it's like, come on, we need someone to throw their name forward. And you get into the Dáil. So what are the areas that you're really interested in? Because we have just been talking this morning. You're a secondary school teacher.
Yeah.
We've been talking about AI in the classroom and how one educator who's like, lads, already the Department of Education are way behind what's actually happening. We're spending all this money on AIs in the classroom.
Yeah.
What do you make of things like that? Like, you have an insight. You were teaching recently.
Yeah,
You're recently qualified.
I taught for 2 years in 2 very good schools. And I suppose it's hard for secondary school teachers to differentiate between, is it AI or is it the student themselves? You can't accuse a child.
Yes.
And there are very good children out there who are, the work they do in secondary school is remarkable. It really is. And I was having conversations with students on it every day. And I would, if I was anybody, place yourself inside in a secondary school classroom for a day and the amount of learning you do as a teacher, because there's exceptional students out there across every spectrum, whether it's academically, whether it's in terms of their sporting ability.
But you did see AI use in the classroom.
You do see it. And, I remember even being in college, and I was in college during COVID. So there was a lot. You spoke about Turnitin this morning, which is a different system. And that worked. It's working. And I wonder, will the Department of Education go and seek that out to bring into secondary schools? Because I think it's very important.
Well, as somebody having that experience, would you not push that now that you are in politics?
Absolutely. It's something that really needs to be pushed. But there's loads of different issues across education that need to be pushed.
There are lots of teachers in politics at the minute. So education should be an area that really should be pushed to the forefront.
I think it should be the main priority. And I think successive governments have failed on education. And that's even from my own perspective.
Why?
I'm dealing with parents on a daily basis who have children with additional needs.
Yeah.
They cannot get access to a school place in their own locality. There's one parent in particular has applied to 10 schools. She's second on the waiting list into 10th school. Like, that's just unbelievable. The school's not in the locality. And the best thing we can do for children with additional needs is to try and integrate them into their community. But it's impossible because they're travelling an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening to go home, to try and attend a school that is of benefit to them with their additional need. So I think they've announced this year that they're going to open 5 new special schools across the country. That just isn't enough.
Yeah.
I was teaching in schools where children were in mainstream classes but needed to be in a special unit or in a special school. Just didn't have the access to it.
I think that these are issues, and it's in every single constituency across the country. 0896 111 111. For you then, were you a bit surprised, Owen? Because Labour got a lot more seats than was expected across the country, did very well. You're all very happy about that, and they can hold you up there going, look, we are thinking about the future, we're thinking about young people in the country. But were you surprised then when Ivana, your leader, ruled you out of going into government? Because she had been quite, no, we're going to do this. And then Eoghan Kelly, the MEP, was like, no, we're not going to.
Well, see, first of all, it's a fantastic mandate because people wrote us off. They wrote us off in terms of the amount of TDs we get elected.
But surely you want to govern.
Absolutely. And the main reason I joined the Labour Party in 2017, and I joined the Labour Party because 2 reasons. We're a party of government, and we had a Mallow Labour Party TD who has had a fantastic influence on me. But we met as a parliamentary party on a number of occasions, and we, throughout the whole campaign, had set our campaign on building a left bloc, a left alliance with ourselves, the Greens and Social Democrats. We met with them. A left bloc wasn't created. But we didn't go for formation talks, but we went to speak with government. But we had significant policy differences with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. And we also made it clear that we wouldn't enter government to make up the numbers. We're not a party of going into government to make up numbers.
But we spoke about the younger generation being disillusioned with their vote and getting stuff done. You got the vote to go and make a difference. Labour had the opportunity with 11 votes potentially to go into government to make a difference. And they decided to not take that opportunity, but Tommy, which goes against probably what you were going out canvassing for. To vote for me, we're going to make a difference. You have the chance, you decide, no, it's about looking after ourselves.
No, not at all. And, we're a party of government, absolutely. But, Tommy, we would have been going in to make up numbers. How many
got stuff done?
How many of our
Green
policies...
Party got lots done.
But we have a significant policy difference with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. How would we have got our policies implemented into a government where they don't need a significant amount of numbers?
Is it a poison chalice as being a smaller party in Ireland going into power with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael?
Well, it would have been a poison chalice for the fact that we wouldn't have been able to implement policies. But we went and met with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. We had the conversations. And coming from that, our parliamentary party realised that we wouldn't have been able to implement the policies that ultimately I got elected on. State construction company is a great example of it. Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael don't want a state construction company. We do in the Labour Party. It was one of our biggest things. When people were asking me at the doorstep, how are we going to have more housing? That was my policy on it.
So, come on, going into the Dáil, 24 years old. Like, again, Michael Collins got involved in politics when he was 19 years old. You know, this is what people do. But is it a bit, put on the big boy pants now, where am I going? Is it first day of school, college, where is everything?
I was telling Tommy before we started here, it was kind of a case of what gate do you even go in?
Yeah.
You know, there's media
Are you looking for the fancy bike rack?
Yeah.
Oh, where is it? Can I touch it?
Don't want to go in the wrong way with all the media watching you.
Absolutely. Now, I did go and see the bike rack just for a laugh.
Did you take a selfie beside it?
Yeah, no, I didn't take any selfies. No.
We should do that.
I sent a few selfies onto my friends just to say, look at the bike rack.
Have they asked to go into the Dáil bar? The friends?
Well, not yet, actually, but they're really encouraged at the fact that they have the opportunity now to go to the Dáil bar.
Do your friends still want to hang out with you now that you have to actually be good? You have to be very serious, very careful.
Absolutely, of course they do, but this newfound fame, they're probably happy enough to hang out with me. But at the same time, you have to be so conscious of what you're posting on social media, because we've gone into that social media age now where pictures and articles are being posted.
Well, you're an elected representative, and
exactly.
To be honest, people your age probably have their phone in their hands all the time.
Absolutely.
And you're allowed to have a private life, go out and have a drink, but you obviously must be very aware of that.
You have to be aware, but at the same time, you have to, there's life beside politics as well. And after I had the seizure, for example, our General Secretary said to me, politicians are normal. It's something that I've taken on board now completely. And I've said it to my friends because obviously they're kind of saying to themselves, are we going to be able to go out for a drink on a Saturday night and everything?
Yeah.
I'm kind of saying, absolutely. Be normal about it.
Well, I look forward to seeing the picture with the top off and the tie around the head very shortly then.
Not at all.
Eoghan Kelly's definitely normal. There you go. You can be reason with a lot of your voters there. Listen, you are the new Cork North Central TD. Eoghan Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
With Labour. Great to have you with us.